Okay, everybody, bear with me for 1 second. There's one more thing I have to do here, but I'm here. And we'll give maybe a minute or two for people to mosey on over. They're going to mosey on over. So hang tight. I need to just drop a comment on the last one. God, that's a bad, well, anyhow. I need to drop a comment on the last video. So to let everybody know that we are, oh, there we are, not that one. Let everybody know that, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so distracted. All right, let's see where we are here. Let's see.
Which one is it, honey?
Well, the first one should be over, right? You guys, and I'm sorry I have to do this live with you all here. It would be nice if I could wait a minute, but I couldn't. So, is the other one missing? That is a little bizarre. So, okay, hold on. I'm going to put you guys actually, well, now you're getting a tour of the room. And you got a tour of Nick too, because he was sitting there in the background. All right, I'm going to just put this here real quick. All right, and I'll end up being there in a sec. I'll be right back. I just have to add some information. Oh goodness, I hope everyone is enjoying their Saturday so far. Someone told me yesterday, some of you may have received an email from me about a link to a class that you did not order, and it caused tons of confusion. And then somebody emailed and said, it's Mercury's in retrograde, and then that must be what the problem is. And so Mercury is still in retrograde very clearly, because the technical issues I was having yesterday when I did that are still happening. But it's not me. I was so glad to know it was not me. It's Mercury in retrograde. Okay, I think I have it. I think I have it. Yes, all right. We're bringing it up on the iPad. This is all stuff that always happens beforehand. So now you guys are getting a glimpse into what happens behind the scenes. Okay. There it is. Oh, look at my roots. Aren't those lovely? I know, nice view of my head. Okay, you guys, are we good? Are we here? Okay, well, I hope people will eventually find us, right? So I apologize for that, you guys. What a way to start the morning, huh? So we are here for our 14th Saturday. So 14 Saturdays. Nick and I were out walking yesterday morning, and I just had this brainstorm, and he said something, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. And then I said, you know what? Why not? So I actually have, obviously, today planned, but I have the next 2 weekends planned as well, and maybe even the next 3 weekends, which means we will at least have 16 weeks, 17 weeks. And I think probably about then I'm going to start to go every other week. And I'll try to streamline things a little bit more, so we're just kind of doing something that we can all plan on every other week. Because in the chaos of everything that's been happening in my life, and you guys are I think, well aware of that, it's a lot. So good news is we're here for at least the next 3 weeks together, and then probably in every other week after that. Let me back up. If you are new to the videos or new to my channel, my name is Lael Konkar, and I have a business called Lael by Mail. I have a website, it's laelbymail.com, and for the last 14 weeks, we have been here together every Saturday, sometimes live, sometimes pre-recorded, but mostly live, just talking about Traveler's Notebooks. So if you haven't watched any of the other videos, you might want to rewind, go back. There are, as I mentioned, there are 13 prior to this. So lots of great information. We've been having a ton of fun. Last week's class, the beginning of class, I talked about a giveaway. So I said I was going to give away one of my brand new little Crafting Makes Everything Better tote bags. And to enter to win that, you just needed to leave a comment on last week's video. So I want to announce the winner of that first. And the winner of that is Tracy Carell. And hopefully I pronounced that right. Tracy, I will, if you're watching, great. Shoot me an email. If you just go to my website at laelbymail.com and click contact us and send me your address. If you're not watching, if you're watching later, well, anyhow, if you're watching at all, Tracy, you'll figure that out. Otherwise, I will go to Tracy's comment from last week's video and I will reply there and let her know. So, okay, my friends, today we have something kind of fun planned, and I'm actually very excited about it because I'm going to be selfish. When Nick and I were walking yesterday morning, and I was thinking about, oh my gosh, what in the world am I going to do for today? I kind of started thinking, I've had a lot of requests for a flip through of my second Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook. I've also had some requests to show how I build a spread, whether it's a single page or a double page. And that would be not necessarily in a Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook, that's really in kind of any kind of Traveler's Notebook. So I thought, you know what, why don't I put the two of those together and we'll do a flip through of the my second Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook. And then I'm gonna do some entries in that. And that's where I'm excited because I'm so behind in that. This is really, when I sit down to play, this is how I play lately, although I haven't done it in quite a while. But I play in my Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook because I'm having fun and I'm documenting and things like that. So I actually get to get that done, a couple of spreads done in class today. Something that's really important, if you are not doing a Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook, or if you're not documenting the coronavirus, don't worry. Everything that I'm going to share, a couple of the things have really nothing to do with the coronavirus. I'm just documenting it because it's what some of the things that we have done during this time. So a lot of my processes that I will share and walk through are going to apply really to any kind of documenting in a Traveler's Notebook. What else? I think that is it. Actually, one more thing. In the description of the video, so that is down below the video, where right before you enter your comments, I have listed a ton of links and a ton of information. Anytime I talk about my Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook, there's a ton of questions on what I have used. So I have provided links to different printables that I am using, different freebie printables that I'm using. And then those of you that have been around for a long time with me, there's even a link to my friend Tracy Reed. She put together a very exhaustive blog post with links to many dozens and dozens of free printables and free digital art that are specifically related to the coronavirus. So she does some, but she also kind of pulled different links from different designers in the industry. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. If you are chatting, you know you have the chat room on the left or on the right. If you are not chatting and not sure what is going on with that, there is a chat room in all the live videos. So lots of people are just in there chatting and they share great information, and a lot of people have kind of gotten to know each other and are friends, and maybe they were friends before, maybe they weren't friends before. So I encourage you to participate in that chat if you'd like. I will also kind of watch that chat after we get started. So if there are questions, then I can address those. So put them in the chat. If I happen to miss your question, I can't respond in the chat after the video is over. So you'll need to just put that in the comments. In the comments, if you will do me a favor after the video, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know where you're from, if you use Traveler's Notebooks, if Mercury's in retrograde for you too, and you're making all kinds of mistakes and technology is just weird. Yes, put it there. And then thumbs up. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. So now we are going to dig in. And I'm going to rotate the camera. So remember, when I rotate the camera, things get a little Blair Witchy, so it all shakes, and we're gonna turn some lights off and turn lights on, and we will get going. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't do anything. That's a lovely arm shot. I'm gonna make sure I don't do anything to disturb the video. All right, let's get some, oh, Squirrel has to be here with us today. I have a feeling Squirrel's gonna be making lots of appearances, right? Okay, so First thing, let me get the lights in more. It's super bright out today, so that's good. I never know how much we're gonna need our studio lights or not. All right, so let me take a quick peek. Let's see, lots of folks. Hi, Carol and Laura and Debbie and Colleen. Is Tracy here? I see lots of people saying Tracy, so maybe Tracy's here. Wendy, Debbie, Diane. You guys, I love it all over. We have lots of Canadians. I love seeing my Canadian friends.
Comment about your cameras too.
My comment about what?
There's a comment about your cameras.
About my cameras. Oh, my cameras above. Yes. Those are, I've been collecting those for a long time, about 25 years. So those are kind of fun. Oh, my dad's here too. He just walked in. So dad's with us again today, you guys. So say hi to my dad. All right. So.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, he kind of heard him. So they said, hi, Dad. We've got a couple people saying hi, Dad. Hi, Karen and Joellen. All right, friends. So this is what we have. I have to tell you guys, my dad is so sweet. He's going to be with us here another week before we move him into his own place in Utah. And he is very interested in everything that's going on, and he likes to watch what we're doing here. But lately, as I've been kidding, and Sam's been kidding, and Nick's been kidding, because that's what we do, he's like, what are you guys doing? Well, now he is an official, unofficial, mail by mail employee, because he is helping Kit. So he is unwrapping packages and doing all kinds of things. He just poked his head in and said he's asking Nick a question about collating some papers. So, because it really, truly is a family affair. And, you know, when you have a small business, that's just kind of how it works, right? Okay, so one of the very first links I included down below in the description, I have included a flip through of my first coronavirus traveler's notebook. So I won't go through that. There's lots and lots and lots in here. But if you would like to see that flip through and you have not seen it, then after the video, you can flip through that. And I will mention again, a lot of this in here pertains to the coronavirus, but there are things that don't. And if you were looking for inspiration on some different spreads and how to lay out some different, like a spread or a single page, this may help you because it will give you some ideas. Like there's a 2-page spread and just give you some ideas on, you know, different ways to lay things out. But now let's start with the flip through of my second coronavirus traveler's notebook. And I think what you're going to find is there are a lot of blanks in here, but that's okay because we'll talk about that process. I have linked to, there is an online website called In a Creative Bubble. And she does amazing printables, you guys. This was one of the free printables that she offered. And I have a number of others here that some are free and some you pay for. But in all cases, I have printed them out on my printer and then I just add them to my coronavirus folder. So I just want to show you guys something real quick as I...
So Kelly's asking what kind of notebook to start out with, for when the pages don't come out very easily.
So, Kelly, that's a really good question. There are a lot of different inserts out there. I primarily use the Carpe Diem inserts, and I do carry those on my website. They won't, most of the time things aren't coming out easily. It really though depends on how much you're putting in there. So, and this is pretty thick so far. I have a lot of things in here and none of the pages are coming out. But what I did find in my first one, where did that go? Oh, this guy. So this is, you can see it, my pages, because I have so much in here, they are starting to stick out the side. And in some cases, I did have to go in and give it a little bit of help with some clear acid-free Scotch tape, just to kind of help things get together. But depending on what you're using your traveler's notebook for, and depending on how thick it's going to be, if you're putting a lot of, you know, different stickers or dimension inside, your pages may do that, and it all has to do with the binding. So how the insert is really put together. The majority that I see and the majority that I work with have a staple. They're just stapled here and here. You have some that will have like a saddle stitch. We have made some on our own. In one of the past videos, we walked through how to make your own inserts where I use some really thick thread and an awl to kind of, and a blunt nose needle to stitch it together. Anything like that theoretically would be a little bit stronger, but it really is going to depend on how much that you're putting in there. So I don't know if that was helpful or not. Yes, well, a little bit of self tanner, honey, right? Nick, you're so funny. Little bit of self tanner, but we've also been walking quite a bit, so you get a little bit there. But I think it also might just be the light.
You have a question about what printer you use for your printer.
Okay, so what type of printer do I use for my printables? I actually, you guys, I lease a very expensive. What kind of printer is that? No, I know, but it's it's not an inkjet. What's the? I'm totally drawing a blank. It's the kind of printer that you would normally see like in a large office, and I do that because I print so many color prints, and I do that on a laser printer. Thank you. Hello. But I print all of my instructions for my kits on that. So I print thousands and thousands and thousands of pages. So that is what I use. It is a laser jet. Thank you, guys. So here's the thing. If you don't have a good-ish quality printer, and you don't have to have a great printer, but one of the things that you could do would be to upload your downloads, your things that you purchase or the free printables. You could upload those to like a FedEx Kinko's or Staples or something like that. So I will, when we're done with the video, my friend Tracy Reed has, I saw the other day, she had put together either a blog post or a video on how, because she does a lot of digital kits, on how she uploads and prints, has things printed elsewhere. So I'm going to remind myself to do that. Hang on. I just have to make my little note here. Link, Tracy, blog. Printing printables. The paper that I use, and I have linked that in the, I've linked that in the description of the video. I use an 8.5 by 11 paper that I just get off of Amazon. Okay, so then I just wanted to show you this. This is right now, and it's kind of messy. This is where I have all of my printables that I have printed for coronavirus, as I'm working in my coronavirus notebook. So there's just, well, there's some blank paper in there, but I have just a ton of different printables. And usually what I'll try to do is when I download something, I like to print it right away, because if I print it right away, then that means that when I want to work with it, that's not a printable. I have it right there. Gosh, everything's upside down. Here we go. I have it to work with, so I don't have to necessarily stop and stop and print. So that's just kind of where I store my things right now, in just a little folder like that. Okay, so back to the beginning. And you guys, I have so many supplies here that we're gonna kind of work with as I create. Traveler's Notebook number 2 for the coronavirus, as I mentioned, that is from A Creative Bubble, and that is linked. Epson tank printer. Oh, 500 printables, and the ink tank isn't even halfway down yet. Okay, Epson tank, and I don't know what that is, but that sounds very intriguing. Okay, so I ended my last Traveler's Notebook, well, and I actually have ended, but kind of not ended. I would have ended that. That would have been, oh gosh, probably the end of March. So the first one, there was a lot in my first one, because you guys, there was a lot happening, right? There was a lot happening kind of that first 6 weeks or first month or what have you. So as I started off in my second one, I started out with April. So my intent was not to necessarily do an individual traveler's notebook for each month for the coronavirus. That's too much, especially now and we're not winding down, but things are a little bit different now, right? So this I had pulled off of Instagram, and I've used a couple of his, I've just done some screenshots of a couple of this guy's work before. His name is Matthew Zaremba. But if you look for him on Instagram, he does kind of some fun things. Over here, my intro to April, I use some Carrie Bradford stamps. You guys know, no, I love Carrie stamps. So I did just a kind of a diagonal stamp there, and then just a little bit of information about this is where we are as we're heading into April. When I'm working in my traveler's notebooks, I do a mix of things, and this is just kind of what works for me. I am doing some of our personal photos and telling stories about what we're doing, but then I'm also grabbing a lot of different screenshots from the internet. And in most cases, I am grabbing these from like the New York Times, the Washington Post. Katie Couric does a really awesome daily update, or she had been. I don't know if she's still doing it, but she was doing a daily update on things that were going on. So I try to kind of get a really good representation in my coronavirus traveler's notebook between our things and then what's happening in the world. Even if you were just starting out and you decide that you want to go backwards and start documenting the traveler or the coronavirus, or if you didn't grab a lot of things like this that you want to grab, just go back, just go to a website, go to a news site, or if you spend time on Instagram, go to a news site that you follow, whether that's New York Times or Washington Post, whether it's Fox News, whether it's CNN, whether it's MSNBC, whatever you follow, where you like to get your news, you'll find that they have a lot of great graphics, a lot of great screenshots. Hey, Trisha. That you can grab. You can also find them on their website. So this is just a matter of kind of going and looking and finding. There are also, at least in our state government has a website for coronavirus, and I can find a lot of things there as well. So I like to talk about what's happening in the country, but then also focus on some of the things that are happening in our state of Utah as well. So both of these are examples of screenshots that I had just pulled and printed out using that cardstock. This I thought was kind of fun. That was, those were 5 different covers of Time Magazine. I went to Time Magazine's website and did a screenshot of those covers, and they were spotlighting different, different workers through coronavirus. Both of these photos came from Salt Lake. So I saw both of these on accounts that I followed on Instagram, and there were a number of cities across the country that had participated in this, and this was early April. And you know what? I didn't say, I don't have the dates on there, but a number of hotels, because they were pretty much empty, had lit up some of their windows in the shape of a heart. So I thought it was kind of a fun thing to grab and talk about that. And then this was on an Instagram account that I follow, and it was just a sign outside of a business. So I thought that was kind of neat too. We are Salt Lake City. We're in this together. Stay safe. So just grabbing different things. Then we go back to the personal. This is when Sam decided that he wanted a haircut. He was bored with his hair. So he actually started doing it on his own, and then very quickly came upstairs and decided he needed help. So and we ended up outside because there was hair everywhere. But anyway, that was just kind of a fun little story. That around here, this is one of the printables from In a Creative Bubble. So you can see I've got a good balance of personal and then what's happening in the news, different size photos. We've talked in the past before about different size photos and that Epson PictureMate 400 and the free app that you can get to go along with that printer. And actually, I should mention something about that. And I have linked the printer. We've talked a lot about the printer. We've seen the price, you guys, over the last 14 weeks go anywhere from $250 down to $125. And I know some of you guys got that amazing deal at $125 on Amazon. I think it's called the Epson Creative Print app. And it's available on both Android and on Apple devices. Oh, $217. So it's a little bit lower than $250. That's good. But you guys, that Epson PictureMate, Epson Creative Print app, that You don't have to have, I don't believe that you have to have an Epson to use that. I need to double check on that. So I'm going to make myself a note, because if you don't have to have that, oh, Nick's going to make it for me. If you don't have to have the printer for that, then that app is amazing. And I still owe you guys a deep dive video into the printer and then also that app, because if I find out that the app, if you can save the prints, if you will, to your phone, then you could really print those anywhere. Anyway, I'll follow up on that. I'm just thinking out loud. Next one. So this, another double page spread. So someone asked, maybe it was Joy Ellen? No, Debbie? I don't remember who it was. Someone last week asked if I ever did double page spreads. And when I'm doing my lists, for the most part, I'm not doing double pages every once in a while. But when I'm documenting like this and adding photos, a lot of times I'm doing double page spreads. So if you're documenting the coronavirus, and again, this could be, this spread right here really has nothing to do with the coronavirus. So if you were just looking to document different things in your TN, this is a super easy and visually pleasing kind of design, because we have a grid, and I go to a grid. That's my fallback. I go to grids a lot because they're super easy to do and they're very visually pleasing. But if you are documenting the coronavirus, this is something that might be good to document. A lot of us, well, I always work from home. My husband normally doesn't work from home. So I was documenting just kind of a little bit of a day in our life. This is what, this is where I work, and you guys have seen that picture a lot. That's where I am right now. And my husband was bouncing back and forth between our bedroom and then the kitchen, because my office is the office in our house. Anyhow, this, the products that I used here, these were a digital kit from Fancy Pants. So I will link to that as well. I don't think I linked to that. Nick, will you just write a quick note for me to link to the Fancy Pants printables? Okay, so then this is what happens when I know I'm skipping around. And this is in chronological order, but I skip because that's what I like to do. If the drive up the canyon that we took, something that wasn't necessarily inspiring me when I wanted to sit down and work in my traveler's notebook, then I skip. But I always make sure to put a sticky note so that I know, oh, this is what I wanted to go there. And then I have the photos on my phone. This one was a big deal because this was really kind of the first time that we were really like out of the house and really, other than, walking and hiking, but that was kind of the first foray out of the house. This one. So this was, let's see, screenshot. We had a public safety alert that popped up on our phone from our county, and I just took a screenshot of that. Now, sometimes if you have something like that, so now if you're thinking that you might want to go back and maybe you saw some of these things that popped up on your phone, but you didn't happen to screenshot that, you can always Google and see if you can find it. So, maybe Google to see if you can't find something like that, if you had something that you wanted to document. This is where I pulled from the our local governments, the Utah government, just some of the cases. So that was one of the graphics on their website, and I literally just screenshotted it and printed it out. This one. So if you saw my flip through of the first earthquake that we had here in Utah, well, we actually live on a fault very close to an earthquake fault. Interestingly enough, the very beginning of the coronavirus, well, I think that the very beginning of when we were kind of all experiencing it was March 18th. Well, it was March 16th because that was a Monday. March 18th, we had an earthquake, and it was scary. It was a 5.7 magnitude. So I documented that right at the beginning of my first coronavirus traveler's notebook. And I did a screenshot of that public safety alert message that came out on all of our cell phones. Well, wouldn't you know it, April 14th, guess what? We have another one. This one was a 4.2. And you guys, I've lived in Utah since 1978 and never any earthquakes. Well, I shouldn't say that. Never any earthquakes that you could really feel. None that really registered. For us to have within less than a month span, 2 good-sized earthquakes. That was kind of crazy. So I took a screenshot of that from the earthquake.usgs.gov website. And then I kind of did a little bit of journaling over here. So I stamped those super large stamps. Those were Carrie Bradford stamps, number stamps. And then this was a printable, and I did a little hinge here. So I wanted to have this be a full page, and I really liked the idea of having the 30 here. The 30, incidentally, this was 30 days. This earthquake was 30 days after March 16th. Kind of that first coronavirus day for lots of us. So I did a little hinge. I took that card, scored it, added a little adhesive, and then below here did my journaling. So that's kind of a fun thing to do in your traveler's notebooks. Not everything has to be out in the open. You can create hinges and different things that open different ways. Hi, Christy, late to the party. Hope you're doing well. All right, so this again, I have 2 things planned here. And I don't really need to worry about them until I am ready to work on them because I know what I'm going to do. This little section right here, I'm going to skip because this is what we're going to work on today, what I'm going to work on. When I was printing some of the screenshots, I knew I wanted these 2 to go here. And I had some of the things printed. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and put them here. I need to do journaling here, but I loved this graphic because look at this. Here's our mood graph. As soon as you get to Friday, it goes up and then it goes down. This is before the coronavirus. This is now. Your moods are all over the place, right? And I know a lot of us are experiencing that, the moods kind of being crazy all over the place. And then I loved this, and it just because there was a squirrel too. You guys know how we are about our squirrels. This said, home isolation has its ups and downs. One day you're flying high and cleaning the baseboards with a Q-tip. And the next day you're drinking tequila and watching squirrels out the window. There's no in between, right? That was hilarious. Okay, I didn't come up with that. I found that. More little sticky notes on things that I want to add. But you can see I've skipped around a lot. So that was the 25th. That was the 6-week mark. And this was a screenshot that I took from one of our videos. So that would have been the week 6 video. More blanks. This guy, this was another thing that I just saw floating around on the internet. 2020 is a unique leap year. It has 29 days in February, 300 days in March, and 5 years in April, and May and June, and lots of days, right? So just a little screenshot or a photo of the calendar in our pantry that up until this point, well, really up until coronavirus, this is where we would I would log all of our appointments. My husband and I travel a lot. So when we were going to be out of town, but then when that started, this turned into our menu. So it was really easy. This is everything that we're eating every night. So we know, and just did a little bit of journaling about that. So a good balance, you guys, again, between personal and kind of what's happening in the world or in the US. And that's how I decided to approach it. We've talked about this before, persnicketyprints.com. So Persnickety Prints has been offering since the beginning monthly timelines. And they started out, they maybe started in February or March, and they went back and did January, and they went back and did February. So right now they have through May, and at the end of every month, they do a new timeline. The timelines come in 2 different colors and they're free. You just have to sign up for their emails to get them. And then they email you when they have a new one that comes out. But you guys, what is so neat about these timelines? Doesn't matter what it is that you're documenting, but at the end of every month in my traveler's notebook, every month in my traveler's notebook, there's a recap on what's been happening. And I can put whatever I want in, but I like to have the recap because it's telling you what's happening with the virus across the world. So for example, the beginning of April, the world passed the 1 million infection mark. In the end of April, there were more than 3 million cases worldwide. 30 million people filed for jobless aid in the past 6 weeks. Nick, will you shut that door? So I have included those in. Now, this is my 3rd traveler's notebook, and it is empty other than a lot of screenshots that I had and sticky notes and things, but there is May. So May is ready to go in as soon as I get there, whenever I get there. We've moved from April to May, so I did something very similar in May that I did in April, where I did that kind of same stamp technique. And I will probably now, I think, continue to do this as I continue documenting the coronavirus, even though I'm not sure how, kind of as I get past May, how I'm going to do that. I still kind of need to figure that out. I have linked in the description of the video, the link to Persnickety Prints if you need that. Anyhow, so there is May. We're going to do one more thing there. This was one of the lists that we had started together, things that make me happy. So that's kind of a run-on that I will just continue to add to. This guy, some yard work that we were doing. Things we're eating. We did this in one of our past lives. Let's eat. So I added this after we did this list live, and this is another free, or not, that's not a free one. That's another printable from In a Creative Bubble. I just love their aesthetic. I love what she does. I love, it's just, everything is, it's just really my style. So love to use those. And then getting towards the end. So lots more notes. Anyhow, that is now the flip through of my second coronavirus traveler's notebook. Whew. Okay, you guys, that only took us 45 minutes to get there, even including our little technical challenge this morning. All right, so now what I'd like for us to do, Geraldine, thank you. Carol. I was drawing a total blank on her name, but yes, Geraldine. And here's a little hint, a little tip, a little preview. She and I have been talking. I'm working with her to do something special for me for my December documented kit this year. So I may end up also having her do something special for me for one of my traveler's notebook kits in the future as well. So I'm super excited about that. Okay. So now we are going to just start working on a spread. I have done a little bit of pre-work, so I'm going to talk about the pre-work, what I've done. Both of these, and I have no affiliation with Geraldine, or In a Creative Bubble at all. I just love everything she does, and I download her free printables. I buy her other printables that are sized for traveler's notebooks. So in this spread, these are the two that I decided I wanted to use. This story is fantastic. Seriously cool. Okay, that's a printable. And she designs these in a traveler's notebook format. So this is how it prints out. Well, I print them I print them like this, 2 up on a page. They are 8 by 4 1/4. 4 1/4. That is the size of a standard width traveler's notebook insert. And I use a standard wide, which is 8 1/4 by 5. So they are a little bit narrow, and that's okay because then I just go ahead and adhere them to the page, and that is not a problem. Okay, the other one, this is another one of hers that I had printed out as well. So I am going to grab my tape runner. Excuse my arm a sec. Oh, you know, another thing I'll mention, Karen, as I read your comment, this reminded me as well. Persnickety Prints, they also, within the last week, I think I want to say, they came out with a Black Lives Matter graphic. I don't remember if it's I know I downloaded it, but I just don't remember offhand if it's a timeline. Anyhow, if you're documenting kind of this whole time with the protests and things, you might want to also go check out that the Black Lives Matter printable, a free printable that they provided. And if you sign up for their emails, then they automatically email you when they do new things like that. All right, so this guy's just gonna go right there. And this one, I'm gonna do the same thing with. Oopsie. All right. On the 18th of April, that was a Saturday, there was a television show that was called One World Together at Home. And that is something that we watched at home. And I initially started out by taking some photos of the TV. And then I just I didn't really get what I wanted. So then I went to Google and I started Googling. I Googled One World Together, and there were all of a sudden all kinds of graphics that were there, photos and things. So I wanted to document this concert because it was amazing what they did. If you don't know about this, oh my heavens, it's her name, Nick, totally escaping me. My brain is so fried, you guys. Lady Gaga, there we go. Lady Gaga came up with an idea at some time in early April that she thought she could get some of her artist friends together to do a concert and to do a concert online to benefit the World Health Organization. And so Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, John Legend, Elton John. I mean, there were so many different artists, but it was a couple hours. The thing that was so cool about it, though, you guys, it was hosted by Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel. And those guys are like fierce competitors, right? They are all on network TV at the same time, late night TV. And it was so neat, I thought, to see those three come together and host this. So this was something, it kind of reminded me of, Farm Aid that happened back, I don't even remember when it happened, but years and years and years ago. Live Aid, thank you. Live Aid. And we talked about that. What, honey?
Farm Aid happens every year still.
Oh, Farm Aid happens every year. Live Aid. Okay. So this was basically like Live Aid, but what was so interesting about it is that it wasn't in person, right? It couldn't be in person because people couldn't be together. So they did this concert and everyone was singing and recording at home. So I thought I want to document this because this is something that's really cool. I remember Live Aid when it happened, and this to me is like Live Aid of my kids' generation. So I grabbed three screenshots and I measured my different little blocks here, and I sized my photos to fit in those little blocks. So I'm going to grab my trimmer. We've talked about before, you guys, that I have the best friend in the world that is the best photographer in the world, and his name is Google, right? You can pretty much find photos of anything if you Google them. So I would encourage you, if you are looking for photos to document really anything ever, we like to take our own photos, but sometimes you can't get like the exact photo that you want. So go to Google. Even if you were there, even if you were at the Eiffel Tower, even if you tried your best to get an amazing photo, but you couldn't because there were so many people in front of it every single time you tried to get a photo, still take the photos, still remember it. And then as you're documenting, if you want like a prized amazing photo, then grab it from Google and print it and use that too. Obviously, I don't ever take credit for any of those photos when I do that because they're not mine. Oh, I need to clean this. I have some of my adhesive is on there. Okay, so let's see. I have these three. I think I'm going to do that one there, and that one there, and that one there. And I love how when Geraldine does these printables, she always leaves room, well, in a lot of them, to add photos like that. Or journaling, so you could add photos there, you could add journaling there. Okay, I know what I need to do. I need to do my outlining. And we'll outline this guy. Like so. All right. So So I want to make sure to date this. And this happened on April 18th. So that to me right there is like the perfect spot to add my little date. So I'm going to use my little date stamp. We've talked about these a couple times before, and I showed them last week. These arrived, I think, on Monday. So I added them back to my website on Monday. Okay, 04/18/20. Make sure that's good. And then I'm going to come in with my little tester sheet. And when I stamp, I always try to test first to make sure that things look good. They're lined up. Lined up okay. That looks good. One of my favorite things about this stamp is that you can change the little icons that appear between each of the dates. Oops. Let's stamp now. I don't want to put that away. All right. This is always the hardest part. Trying to make sure that we get it centered. And you know what? It's not centered, but that's okay. To tie in with that heart theme, what did I have so much stuff around here, you guys. It's, oh, here it is. Okay. So to tie in with the heart theme, and I will link these. Honey, will you make a quick note for me to link the Whimsy Fox hearts? Whimsy Fox, yes. Friend of mine, Iris, she has a little Etsy shop, and she makes super fun die cuts. So she creates different silhouette cuts, and you can either download her silhouette cut or she'll actually print them for you and mail them to you. But she does all these felt hearts and different tabs and things. So I think I want to put a felt heart in here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this blue. And the reason I'm picking this blue, first of all, we're kind of primary colors here, red, yellow, and blue. But I'm going to pull in the blue from the curtain, the backdrop there behind. They all actually kind of have that same blue behind them. That's probably why whoever put that photo together on the internet did that. Okay, I need, hang tight. I didn't think about this first. I should have thought about this first. So I want to staple this little felt heart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift this up very carefully. So I've lifted that off of my insert. And I'm going to come in here and staple that because I don't want it to staple through the entire page, right? I don't want the staple coming through on the back side of this spread. So no staple here, but it's stapled underneath. All right, and now I can see I'm gotten to the point where I am already starting to, my pages are starting to come out of the staples a little bit. So I'm gonna have to go back in and just do a little bit of, have to add a little bit of clear tape like I did on my last one. Do I have a video of how to screenshot? So Colleen, it depends on what device you're using. If you're using an Apple phone, and it depends even on what version you're using, I would say probably the best thing to do is to Google whatever it is that you're trying to get the screenshot off of. If you're using a Mac computer, you do something different than you do if you are using a PC. Same thing if you're using an Apple phone. It depends on which Apple phone you're using. And then if you're using an Android, I have no idea. So I would say Google, and Google will help tell you that. Karen, you're funny, I know. And you know what's interesting? Because in a creative bubble, there are some things I think you could mix very easily with simple stories, because some of the simple stories things are very graphic as well. And if not, I think you can, get a really good balance between the two. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, I have my photos, I have a great title, but I haven't really talked about even what this was. And to me, other than it does say One World Together at Home, eventually 20 years from now, when I'm looking through this traveler's notebook and marveling at this amazing thing that we all experienced in history, I don't mean the concert, I mean coronavirus in general. I don't want to have to go, no, one world together at home. What the heck was that? I don't remember what that was. I don't want to have to Google what it is. So I have grabbed 2 3x4 cards. And these, oh, snag it. Oh, there you go, Nick. That's good. Thank you. So
really super easy to use.
easy to use. So Nick said he has software. Is it free, honey?
I think you have to purchase it.
Oh,
The
okay.
company, I don't know
Okay.
if they-
All right. So you could Google snag it and see if that might work for you. Otherwise, just Google how to screenshot on a Mac or on a PC or whatever you have. So 2 3x4 cards that I have pulled. These are also from In a Creative Bubble. And I pulled this one because it kind of coordinates with that orangish color. And it says, this is awesome. This over here said totally awesome. And then this was super simple, jot it down. So I thought this would be a great place to tell the story. So what I'm going to do is I think I want to adhere these together. So I'm going to adhere these 2 together. And then I want to create a tip in. So way back in, I don't know, one of the earlier videos, one of the earlier classes, I didn't quite get that together, but that's okay. We had talked about a tip in. And a tip in is basically when you take something like this, and I want to go in and add it to my insert, and that is called a tip in. So the way that I do that is with washi tape. And let's see what washi I want to use. Well, you guys know, I always have washi. No, I don't want that one. I might just go something super simple like this guy. So what I do is I come in and I will add a little bit of washi on part of the card. And then I'm going to put that right in the center of that insert. Center of the page. I'm going to press that down really well. And then I'm going to get my little scissors. While I'm doing that, you guys, so I think most of you probably received my emails. And if I confused you yesterday, I am so sorry. Then I'm going to come on the other side. So I turned it. I'm going to come on the other side and do the exact same thing. I was sending out a number of emails yesterday about the classes that accompany the kits, Traveler's Notebook kits that people had purchased. And I sent out the first 3, no problem. And then the last one, I not only sent out to the people that purchased the kit, I actually sent it out to everyone on my email list, which that's a lot of people. And it caused quite a bit of confusion. So I apologize if you received that and you wondered what in the world was happening. If you were signed up for that class, it was meant to go to you. If you hadn't purchased the kit, then that wasn't meant to go to you. So anyhow, okay, so I jotted down here. I'm going to outline. The tip-ins like that, you guys, I do tip-ins all the time. I think we did a tip-in with a pocket. We did a tip-in with a dashboard. But you can tip in, I tip in with postcards. So if I'm doing a travel-themed traveler's notebook, I'll take a postcard and tip it in like that. You can tip in with photos. You can pretty much tip in with anything. Michelle, yes, the summer mini book. Oh, yeah, and that was, the summer mini book was Thursday night. So it already happened. Now, that's okay if you missed it, because I think you did, and I'm not sure what happened there, but shoot me an email, and I will make sure you get the link. It may have ended up in your spam folder. But you know what? It's okay if you missed it, because once the live class was over, then you just watch the replay. So you still have access to the replay, just like you guys can watch these as a replay anytime after we do them. Okay, so there that is, and I want to say what this was, but I also want to add something that was pretty cool. Well, this isn't pretty cool, but the amount of money that they raised, and I had to Google that this morning, was pretty spectacular. It was $127 million they raised during that concert. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they were raising money for the World Health Organization. So I'm going to take my black. Well, I guess, because that's all I have in front of me. Okay. I'm going to take my black and I'm going to say 1, 2, come off. 1, 2, 7. So these are the number this is the number sticker tablet. No, it's not. I'm using numbers. This is the basics, the alpha sticker book basics from my website. There are actually 4 of these. There's a basics that is kind of the black and gray and white and cream. The brights, the bolds, and the lights. So these are fun because they're just good. There are different sizes of the alphabets. So you have different size for each of the colors. That one looks like it's blank, but it's not. That's just a cream. Anyhow, I use these guys all the time. So 127, we'll do like this. 127 million. So I'm going to say this is a live concert hosted by Steven. Is he PH, Nick? I can't remember. That's what I thought. Steven and the Jimmies. Steven and the Jimmies. To benefit the WHO and coronavirus response efforts. Truly amazing. Okay, so I didn't have to do a lot of journaling about it. Basically, when I get 20 years from now, if I'm reading this, I'm like, ooh, I want to know more about that One World Together at Home. Then I can go Google it. But there's just enough to jot my memory when I come back to that anytime in the future. So I know what this was all about. And then the backside, this is awesome. So there's just a little bit of blank space there. So you guys know what I do here, right? This is when I grab all of my word strip stickers. And I feel like it needs just a little something right there. So these are the small talk that are on my website. There's 2 different versions of small talk. There's the small talk and the small talk snarky. And we've used both before. The snarkies, oh gosh, that's the snarky, isn't it? It is. I'm like, I'm sorry, did I roll my eyes out loud? Yeah, I knew that was not, that was not this regular small talk. I don't want snarky for this. So there we go. This is the regular small talk. And you can see I use these a ton. So let's see. And then I just start looking for what might work. Here we go. This is a good one. Make it happen. Because that's what they did. They really made that happen. And I'm sure there were a lot of people that thought there is no way you're going to pull that off, especially trying to record. All of these people were performing live in their individual homes. I just missed something totally. Sidetracked home executives. I don't know what that was. Okay. So there is our first spread. And again, this is, even though this is in my Coronavirus Traveler's Notebook, it is about the coronavirus, but this is something that the product is not specific to the coronavirus at all. And the word is totally escaping me. The design It's not the right word, but anyhow, so that could be used for anything, but it's in my traveler's notebook. Okay, next one. It just happens to be the next day. The next day, so Sam, our younger son, and many of you know Sam, he is actually on a river trip right now, so he is not with us. Back then, this was on April 19th, he was still in school. Well, technically still in school, but kind of not. So he was going to a Utah State University up about 2 hours away from us. And that had, I don't know, he'd been home since the beginning of March. They were having online classes. And one of the last assignments that he had, he was taking, oh gosh, he was taking a math class, and he was taking a math class, he was taking a business management class, he was taking an econ class. Oh, then he was taking a landscape architecture class just to have and he was also taking billiards. So he had some electives there, and then, some good core classes. But in his landscape architecture class, there was an assignment for extra credit. And the assignment was to go to a place in Utah, and it took us about 2 hours to get there, in the middle of nowhere, called the Spiral Jetty. So Salt Lake City, the city itself, is not far from the Great Salt Lake. The Great Salt Lake, if it was not salt, would be an amazing place. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing place, it's beautiful, but it is basically a salt bed. There's some water, but there goes the salt flats go for miles and miles and miles, and it's really interesting because they are just salt. The one problem with the Great Salt Lake is that in the summertime, brine shrimp live in the lake. And in the summertime, every once in a while, something happens with the climate and all kinds of things. The brine shrimp die. And it is stinky, stinky, stinky. So unfortunately, it could be a beautiful area, but not a lot of people spend a lot of time there because it's not like having like Lake Huron or something. Anyhow, so this was way in the middle of nowhere, and there was an art formation that a gentleman did back in the 1970s, I want to say. Do you remember, hon? Called the Spiral Jetty. Now, it was very difficult to get a good photo of this. The reason it was difficult for me to get a good photo is because this was April 19th. We were still very much in the middle of coronavirus. And we drove out there. There was no one on the roads. And all of a sudden we got there and there were tons of people. So you can kind of see in this photo, I'm going to try to show you. And if you Google Spiral Jetty, if you want to see what it looks like, but there were way too many people down there. I'm like, there's no way I'm going down there. But this gentleman back in the 70s basically took all these rocks, and you can see how big the little people are. So it gives you kind of a concept of the scope. But he took all these rocks and he built this spiral jetty. So the spiral with all these rocks kind of spirals and spirals and spirals. And as we were driving out there, I was doing a little research online because we hadn't done any before about kind of what this was and when it was formed and why he did it. And interestingly enough, it was underwater. It was under the water of the Great Salt Lake for quite a while. And I think it was only within maybe like the last 10 years, Nick, do you remember? Maybe the last 10 years that it kind of resurfaced. So anyway, Sam had to, if he wanted extra credit, we could go do this. And really, we were doing nothing else, so why not? We drove out there. And I took photos along the way because that's what I do. I'm still a scrapbooker at heart. Took photos along the way. And these are the photos that I printed out to use to document this day. Now, again, this really has nothing to do with coronavirus, but it's something we were doing during the coronavirus. So I have it in my traveler's notebook. And I will, when I do the journaling, I'll kind of talk about how we've never been out there. I mean, my husband is born and raised in Utah, and I've been here since 1978, and neither of us had ever been out here. So I had taken a lot of photos. I used and I'm going to draw a blank again, I think, the Creative Print. I think it's the Epson Creative Print app. And I just pulled up the app and just dragged my photos in. I picked this template. So the template I picked was going to have 2 photos wide by 4 photos deep. and I just dragged my photos right in there. It was a template that was already created. This is a 4x6 photo. It was a template that was already created. So I dragged my photos in there and then hit print, and it printed right out on my little Epson PictureMate. So this is what I am going to double check when we're done to see if you can basically do this, but then print anywhere you want besides the Epson PictureMate. Anyhow, that's kind of a fun way to get a lot of smaller photos into a spread like this, because we're working with a pretty small, we're working in a pretty small area. So if I can use smaller photos, I can show a bit more. But this one right here, you can see my hand. That is literally salt that I have picked up off of basically the salt flats and put in my hand. So you're basically walking on salt. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so this one I am going to adhere right up to the top. Like this. And then, even though I included this photo here, so that is the exact same photo, this is just bigger. I wanted to include it again over here, but in a larger size, because I wanted to be able to, so that you'd be able to really see it. There are other, yes, you guys, there are other apps that you can use. Project Life has an app. I actually have a video here on my YouTube page where I walk through with my phone showing you how to get smaller photos like that. Persnickety, again, Persnickety Prints. If you go to persnicketyprints.com, they have, they print amazing quality photos, and you can put together collages like this on their website. Hey, Karen. Anyhow, lots of different ways to get your photos. But I think if you're a scrapbooker, this is what we just do. This is just what we do. If you're not a scrapbooker, and you are using a traveler's notebook, this is kind of a fun way. You don't have to be a scrapbooker. You can be a memory keeper, which that's what we're doing here, right? We're just recording our memories. We're keeping our memories. But I think including photos, you know what they say, a picture tells 1,000 words, right? So you can include a photo or two. And these are all just taken off of my phone. I have a very nice, high quality, expensive, DSLR camera that I never use anymore. Our phones these days take such amazing photos that we really don't need to use our big, I always call it my big camera. I don't really use my big camera anymore. When the boys were in high school and they were doing sports, I would pull it out for that because I'd like to get action shots and my telephoto lens. But other than that, and they're not in high school anymore, so I don't, that camera, well, it actually does. That's not true. Comes out once a year. Comes out once a year if I'm trying to do our Christmas photo for our Christmas cards. And then the big camera comes out and I put it on a tripod and a self timer and click, and then we're done. Then it goes back into the bag for a whole other year. Which is, I mean, it's sad, but it's also kind of cool that our phones these days just do amazing. They can take amazing photos and do amazing things. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I'm going to add my, hold on, let me make sure. I don't remember if I was going to use these. Oh yeah, no, I was. Okay. These are super old, super old, you guys. If you have been around the scrapbooking world for a while, there was a company by the name of Basic Gray. I worked for Basic Gray before I worked for Simple Stories. And so I still have lots of their product, but I loved these letter stickers that they did. And I thought, oh, I'd like to use kind of this blue color with everything that's going on here. You'll notice on my, here's a little tip. You'll notice on this little sticker sheet, I have little black dots, little or pencil dots next to some of the letters. Because before I started, I wanted to make sure, yes, you do, Karen. Oh, both Karens, look at Karen with a Y and Karen with an E. Okay, so Scraff, I can't even, I don't know how to pronounce that. Scraff, TNH. You just found those in your stash. And here's a good point, you guys. I mean, these I have had, let's see, that was in 2009. Nick's going to have to plug his ears. He's like, wait a minute. You still have something from 2009?
Oh, you got stuff from longer than that.
I know. Did you guys hear that? I have stuff from longer than that. But anyhow, go back to your stash. If in stash, that's kind of all of our things that, you know, our scrapbook supplies or our stickers or whatever that we have just waiting to be used that we may have had for a long time. Go back to your stash and look and see what you have, because these, even though they're old, they're great. They're timeless, right? They're just a letter sticker. Because I have used some of the letters though, I wanted to make sure before I got halfway down the path of adding a title and really realize I didn't have enough stickers. I know, Karen, isn't that funny? Well, look at, there's another Karen. It's all the Karens. Isn't the meme? I know, Karen, my friend Karen Petrowski and I, we've joked quite a bit about that meme. And if you don't know what the Karen meme is, just go Google Karen, Karen meme, and you'll probably find out. Okay, anyhow, so I did all my little dots to make sure that I was okay. I was missing one letter. I needed two T's because Jetty has two T's in it. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I didn't let that stop me. So I'm going to put my, hold on, let's see. I pulled out some, oh, look it, there's my coffee. I'm going to have a sip of coffee, you guys. There you go. Karen, the meme is kind of a white entitled person. And I know my friend Karen Petrowski is not like that. And I'm sure Karen C and Karen with a Y are not like that either. And any other Karens that are here. It's just one of those fun little, I shouldn't say fun little, but it's just one of those, you know, that's someone came up with that. And that's what we're calling people. I better just get off that because I'm just going to talk myself into a circle. So anyhow, so you guys, I purposefully left very few. I don't know. I'm going to lay those there for a minute. I did not pull out much product at all to work with because we've talked about that before. Sometimes we can get so paralyzed that we'll never get anything done because we're trying to find the perfect product to go on our spread. Oh yeah, duh, my mom. Yes, my mom is also a Karen. Well, let me clarify that. My mother's name is Karen. My mother is not also a Karen, like the Karen, meme Karen. Oh goodness. All right. So anyhow, I didn't pull out a lot of products purposefully because this happens to me too. What I would do right now, you guys, if we weren't all together, I would stop and go, oh, I don't know if I like those flowers. Let me go look through all of my other stuff to see if I can find something that I like better. And you guys know what happens when we do that. 3 hours later, we have accomplished nothing. Really, we've just made a giant mess somewhere because we're trying to go through everything. So that is why here I'm going to force myself to work with what I have so I can get this documented, right? All right, so I think I'm going to try over here. My garbage. I don't have my little garbage thing. Okay, so I'm just going to barely lay these down because I want to try to get things centered-ish. So, honey, will you hand me that garbage, that little tin thing? Thanks. Okay. SPI.
You can like my last.
Uh-oh, what'd you say? Oh, yeah. One of these weeks, I will take you on a video tour and show you all of her stuff. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. So I've told you guys, we moved 2 years ago and we downsized pretty significantly. So I got rid of quite a few things then. And I did not sell them and I did not necessarily donate them. I actually had a whole bunch of stamps. I had a whole bunch of wood stamps that I really didn't want any longer. So those I did sell. And there was a local woman who saw my listing somewhere and she wanted to buy them. And I said, great. So when she came to pick them up, she had 2 little kids in her car. I'm like, what are you going to do with all these? And she goes, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to craft with my kids. And I'm like, oh, tell me about your kids. And she said, oh, well, one is a boy and one is a girl. And I said, how old are they? 3 and 5. And I'm like, you're going to craft with them? And she's like, oh, yes, I love to craft. And I want to craft with them. And I think it's important that they learn art and all that. I'm like, you were awesome. And she was, I don't know, probably late 20s. And so she left. And this was probably about a month, maybe 6 weeks before we were moving. And I knew I was going to have lots of other craft things that I knew I was not going to want and that I would probably just donate or give away or whatever. So right after she left, I texted her and I said, and I didn't know her. I said, you're going to probably think this is really weird because I don't know you. But we are moving. And in the next month, I'm going to be going through all of my craft supplies. I'm going to be going through all of my craft supplies, and I am going to have yes, Cherie, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through all of my craft supplies, and I'd love to donate them to you if you think you might want them. And she texted me back. I said, please don't think I'm a stalker or anything. And she texted me back and she said, oh my gosh, that would be awesome. So a month later, I reached out to her and said, okay. She got there. I filled up the entire back of her car. And there was, I mean, you name it, that I had stuff there. There was beads and there was any kind of craft supply, paints, scrapbooks, stickers, anything. And she was so excited. But I thought that was just kind of a fun thing. And then, because then I knew who they were going to. Well, I didn't really know her, but I knew who they were going to. And I knew that she would appreciate them and that she would use them with her kids. And I loved that. So I mentioned, and that was totally a squirrel moment, you guys. I mentioned, oh, I know where that came from. I have gotten rid of a lot of my scrapbook things or my crafting things before we moved. So there's not as much as you think, Nick Conkar.
There's plenty.
Yeah, there's plenty. I know, but it's my Nick. It's my business. It's my business. You should see him. He's in the background. You guys laughing and chuckling, and so's my dad. Yeah. Anyhow, so let's see. Oh yes, Cherie. So when I mentioned I was still going forward with this, even though I was missing a T, and I always like to show this when I teach classes in person and we use alphabet stickers. Don't be afraid if you're missing a letter. You're not missing a letter. You may just not have enough letters. In this case, I need another T. So it's really easy. Carrie's listening too. So you guys, Carrie, I need to, okay, this is going to be a squirrel moment again. Carrie is Karen's husband, my dear friend, best friend that we've known each other for 25 years. Carrie is her husband. Carrie, Karen's husband, and Nick, my husband, were fraternity brothers in college. And so Nick and Carrie and I all knew each other in college. So Nick and Carrie are best friends, and Karen and I are best friends. And those friendships, especially with Nick and Carrie, go on for 30 years. So it's kind of funny that Carrie is, I'm sure he's not listening out of choice, Karen. He's just listening because you're listening and he is hearing it in the background. But anyhow, at least you can say it's your business. I know, Carrie, I can say it's my business. And it's really fun because then when I buy products for my website and they come in, I'm like, okay, that many for my inventory and one for me. And that many for my inventory and one for me. Because I'm still a crafter and I still like to use all the things. So, and I've mentioned before, I have a very eclectic assortment of products on my website. It's because they're the things that I like to use. That's why you don't see things and you see things and you might wonder, what in the world? How does she decide what's on her website? Well, that's how, because they're things I like to use. Anyhow, so I have cut off the little loopy part of the F and I'm making that a T. Now, in this case, if I didn't have the loopy part of the F, if I didn't have an F, then I would start looking at my stickers and figure out how I could make a T. So I could probably take a 1 and cut off that little part of the 1 there, and then maybe use a crossbar on a 7 or a crossbar on an X or a Z, and then make a T. So they will totally work. So spiral jetty. There we are. Now, I can stick them all down because that's where I want them all to be. And those flowers, I think they work a little better now because I have kind of softened everything up by those light blue letters. So I think what we're just going to do is I'm gonna put, yeah, Dad.
The top of the first T is not down.
I know it's not down. I like it there. That top, oh, you mean it's
Yes,
not
right
sticking
there.
down? Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you. He can see. It's not sticking down. No, it's sticking down. I thought he was saying, oh, you want to move that down so it didn't go on top of your eye. No, I like it on top of the eye. Alrighty. Okay, so I think I need, and you guys, here's the thing. There's a cow in my picture, a cow and a flower, and then a boy and the boy and his dad, the boy, that's Sam and his dad. None of this is really floral, but you know what? I don't care because I like flowers. So I'm not looking for stickers that have cows on them. But I do want to do some washi. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to tie in some yellow. You guys know I love this one, and I don't know who made it. But I'm really into the yellow lately. So we're going to do that yellow. And this is a little trick. So when I'm doing a double page spread, we've seen I use washi all the time on a single, but on a double, that's a way that I can try to add some balance or some, what's the word?
Continuity.
Continuity. Thank you, Dad. Continuity from the left to the right page by doing something like that that joins them. Then also by doing something like that in the corners. So that will go there. I would probably, so I'm looking at pink and I pulled this one, but I won't use this pink because this pink, I don't want to do a stripe on a stripe. Otherwise that pink would be really pretty. This one I like, but that's too many flowers. And you guys know I have a gazillion rolls of washi. So that'll work for now, I think. You know what, Nick? Where's that bin? Remember that bin you said that was full of all that product and you said, what do you want me to do with this? And I said, leave it here. That, you guys, so now I've got my dad in here and Nick looking. Oh, there we go. All right, so, here, I'm just gonna, oopsie. This is some of the new product that just came in that I added to my website, and then I bring it up to my craft room. So I can, there's a pink in here I'm looking for. Anyhow, I just haven't unloaded this yet. No, not what I want is in here. It's, okay, that's going back on the floor. Oh wait, maybe, let's see. No, too much flour. I don't want flour. Anyhow, oh, here, thanks, Dad. Oh, it's a whole family affair. In this, I love this buffalo check, the pink buffalo check. But again, I have the vertical stripe and then going with the check. That's not going to work either. So let's see what that looks like. The rainbow. Now, I could spend 2 hours going through all the washi, trying to find the perfect washi that I want. Oh, look at this. So look at my dad pulls this out of that basket. So this would be perfect because it's pink. The only thing, Dad, which will make me not use this is that it says arrival and departure on it. Look at, he's pulling out all this stuff now. He's good. Now, Dad, I have, just so you know, I have about 3,000 rolls. Oh, he's like, what about this one? I have about 3,000 rolls of washi. So not that many, but it kind of seems like that many. So, ooh, the pink buffalo check. I know, right, Karen? That was one of the new ones that I brought in. That works. That's cute. That was the pink buffalo check is a new one that I brought in to my website this week. So here's the thing, you guys, when I bring in, I love florals. I have a ton of floral washi. The thing that's harder for me to find, at least I'm having a harder time finding. Now, don't get me wrong. I have tons of like this in my stash. I always like to pair like a stripe with a floral. I love the look of a stripe with a floral. I have no problem finding floral washi. It's a lot harder for me to find a good stripe washi that I like that I can then buy, many rolls of to have on my website. So that's how you usually see me pair washis when I put two together, a stripe and then some kind of floral or design. Alrighty, so then this guy will just go right there. These flowers, they're a little bit iridescent. They are from the She's Magic die cuts. So, She's Magic. These guys we've used before. The She's Magic word strip stickers. So, I brought in the die cuts that go with that, those little stickers. Anyhow, they're a little bit iridescent, so they're kind of fun. Just add a little bit of a little extra added.
We do have the rainbow washies. Do we still have rainbow washies?
So the rainbow washi is part of the Heidi Swap storyline chapters. Nick, if you go, will you go to my website and click on washi and see if we have that? I can't remember if I brought that in or not. The Heidi Swap storyline chapter. So we'll check on that one. Okay. All right. So now what I would do, I'm going to add just a couple more things, and then I will wait and do my journaling later because you guys don't need to watch me do my journaling. But I think, and these are, you guys, so you can tell I really like word strip stickers. These are all of the different word strip stickers from my stash. To me, sometimes you just need a little extra something, and a little word strip sticker is like the perfect thing. So, I'm gonna add a little one right there, and then I think a little one right there. And then I'll finish my little journaling later. Let's see, today is full of possibilities. I'm gonna put that right there, and it's gonna go over the Y because I want it to. And I'll talk a little bit here about Sam's assignment and then how we ended up kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it was pretty cool. So today was full of possibilities. And then let's go with another one right here.
It's the Heidi Swap what, honey?
Just under washi. So did you click on washi? Just look for one that says, it would be one of the tall, the tall rolls, like the 6. It'd be one of those. There aren't too many tall rolls though, so you'll know pretty quickly if I have it or not. Adventure awaits you. That might work. Oh, here we go. How about this? The journey is the destination. What, hun? Did I have it?
No.
Okay. I do not have that rainbow washi. All right, but I will, when we're done, I will link to it. I'll link to where you can find it. Okay, so that is my finished, well, almost finished spread. I will probably come in and outline this little thing because it's just by itself there a little bit, kind of hanging out, and it might need a little outline to help it stand out a bit. I will probably have to do that there too because now it looks weird. That one is done and one is not.
Is it the sweet story, honey?
No, it's not Sweet Story. And then I'm going to come back and add my journaling. So there's a second spread. And in both cases, we have done a spread, but they're totally different, right? The only reason this is a spread is because it happens to cover the same topic. When you initially look at it, you wouldn't even know that it kind of went together. But this one, it goes together because I have joined this across both pages. I've added something here, and then I've added these two here. So it all kind of makes it cohesive. And that is exactly what I would do. Those of you that are scrapbookers, on a 12 by 12 page spread, I would do something like that exactly to try to, just make everything blend together. If I was doing even a double 12 by 12 spread, that's what I would do. See your weekly spreads and monthly calendar. Callie, I will, you know what I will do? In one of the next ones, I will show what I do with a monthly. I don't use a weekly insert, but I will show you what I do on my monthly in one of the next videos. Okay, so let me put these all away because now we have a big mess. Just playing a little bit here, you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because it's still a little bit, still too much white space in there for me. So I'm gonna tuck that guy under there, and then that goes right there. Okay. put these guys away. And now we're going to go on to our third one. Did I plan 3? I think I planned 3. We just have to see. Oh, it's right here. Okay. And this is going to be kind of a fun one. And it's just going to kind of be silly and fun. And let me get this off to the side. And I want to show you what happened right here. And this is normal, but this is a side effect of sometimes stamping in your traveler's notebook.
You better date your page, honey.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. You guys always watch out for me. You always watch out for me. We're going to do it right there. And just because I happen to have it out. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me look. No, nothing there. All right, so this is also 419. Well, not also, but it is 419. So because I have this out, I'm going to go ahead and use that. Even though I use it on the other page, that's okay. This is just kind of one of those good generics that you can really use for anything. But what careful. What I will do is I'm going to change that little one in the middle. See what I have. I'll just do a little dot in the middle. Okay, I want to make sure I get those lined up, and let's test it.
Yvonne is thinking you put the pineapple pen we can put in the drawer.
Oh, Yvonne, you're welcome. You are welcome. You guys, every once in a while, I just add a little extra goodie to someone's order. And I did that with Yvonne this week with a little pineapple pen. Oh, right. I'm going to do it right here. There we go. 419.20. Okay. Thank you for the reminder. Hang on. I need to have a little sip. Okay, Karen. Dad, will you hand me a one of those one of the washi, one of the big oh yeah, let's just see it. So my friend Karen Petrowski, there are several Karens on, just pointed out in the Sweet Story washi, there is also a really fun rainbow strip of washi. So that would, and I don't remember who was asking about that, but that would be an alternative. And that is on my website. And there's really fun washi in there too, along with the rainbow. Okay, thank you, Karen. Okay, so our last one, our last spread that we will do together. All right, you guys, it's 11:39. So we are almost 2 hours in, but you guys know, because if Sam was here, he'd be in the background going, Mom, wrap it up, wrap it up. But I figure, you know what? If you want to watch, then you'll keep watching. If you don't want to watch, you will stop watching. And there are probably people that stopped watching a long time ago. But you can also, I know you guys have a life, so you can also come back and finish up at any time if you'd like. But I am going to because, oh, Yvonne, thank you. You're the one that noticed that. Oh, and Karen, see, you're so the typical non-Karen. I mean, you very nicely gave credit to where credit was due. So not all Karens are bad, right? I'm getting loopy. Okay. What? Oh yeah, not my mom either. Okay. I'd be interested to know how many Karens we have on. Karen C, Karen Petrowski, Karen Haynes, Karen Warren. That's my mom, but I don't know if she's on right now. Anyhow, interesting. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do, I got so off track. This is a side effect sometimes of stamping directly in your insert. So that's what I had done here. And I rarely do this, you guys. I mean, I rarely use colored stamping ink. We've talked about that before. Just to confuse Karen. That's good. I rarely use colored ink because colored ink scares me. And what I mean by that, I generally like a really good, strong impression when I stamp. Let's see here. My Aprils are pretty strong here. And if I ever have a problem where it's not super strong, I can get out my trusted Sharpie and I can color in if it's black, right? Well, when it comes to stamping with colored ink, you really can't do that unless you happen to have the exact color pen. So this is where I have to get over my type A, and it just is what it is. What it is. You can see in some cases I had really nice, good stamped impressions. In other cases, not at all, but that's okay. But because of the ink that I use, the specific type of ink I use, it has bled through to the back side, and that's okay. If it bleeds through the back side, and we've talked a little bit about inserts before and how different inserts have different quality paper. The Carpe Diem inserts have a really good thick paper, but there will be times when this happens, and it just happens. So what I do to fix that is I will get a piece of scrapbook paper typically, and I will just put it down there. Now, I forgot to do that ahead of time. So I need to quickly find, well, let's talk about what I'm doing first. You guys may remember it was back on May 5th, all of a sudden in the news, they were talking about a meat shortage. And this says about 18% of Wendy's restaurants are reportedly not serving hamburgers due to the shortage of beef caused by the coronavirus. So this is just one of those stories that has, happened. It's one of the side effects of coronavirus that a number of the meat plants had outbreaks of the coronavirus. And so they had to stop producing processing meat. And then this was obviously a screenshot from somewhere. I don't remember where that came from. This, I think, because I just printed this morning, this one was from, I think, Washington Post on Instagram. U.S. pork production is down 50%, Food Giant says. So what I thought would be kind of fun, I am going to use both of these here on this side, and then I'm going to have a big title here. And I bet you guys can guess what title is going to go there. So very quickly, while I find a piece of paper to go, and actually, you know what? I really don't even need a piece of paper to go over here. So I'm not going to mess with that because my little screenshots here pretty much cover it up. So I do need to trim this one down a little bit because it's a little bit too big. Yep, Mandy, you have it. Where's the beef? That would be so funny, right? And that probably ages me too. That probably ages a lot of us. Way back in the day, there was a Wendy's commercial with a cute little old lady, and she was, I don't know, at some fast food restaurant, and she gets her hamburger and she lifts up the bun and she looks at it and she's like, "Where's the beef?" And this little sweet lady had this really strong voice that was very amusing. So I thought that I would just document it with these two little screenshots that I printed out. The size that I have printed these two, the size of the image itself, that one is almost 3 1/4. This one started out as 3 1/2. I thought the inside. Yeah, the inside image was 3 1/2. So, you know what I'm going to do? Hang on, let's see. I want to try to get these to be about the same size because it's really going to bother me. What, hun?
I'm being asked if you create sketches or you just wing it.
I just wing it. I'm winging it right now. So what I will do though, I love Instagram. Lots of us like Instagram. And so I have you can have your own little private folders in Instagram where you can save photos that you like. And I have a folder that I save on Instagram of different Traveler's Notebook images, Traveler's Notebook things that I am inspired by, different designs and different layouts that I see. So sometimes I will refer back to those if I'm really kind of stuck and not sure what I want to do. And I'll look and see just how other people have laid out their Traveler's Notebooks. If you if you are on Instagram and you just do a search for like Traveler's Notebook hashtag, you will see tons and tons and tons of different examples. I know that, I think Carrie Bradford has like a template that you can purchase that has a ton of different ideas for different layouts. But generally what I think like all of us, I'm pretty much a creature of habit. And so just like my lists, I tend to kind of do the same thing. And so that's a lot. If you look at a lot of my layouts, they a lot of the time look very similar. I am pretty type A. I never like things like in an angle like that. That just to me just sits really weird. So I pretty much, I go to grids a lot. Grids are kind of my default. I'm trying to decide if this is going to bother me, you guys, having that see-through. I'm not going to let it go. Gotta let it go. Let it go, let it go. Gotta shove the type A back. Shove it away. And not let it bother me that I can see the stamp coming through. It's okay. It is okay. It is okay, Lael. You have the permission to do this. You watch tomorrow. Tonight I won't be able to sleep, and I'll have to. Next time you guys see me do a flip through. Oh, sorry. Next time you see me do a flip through, you'll be like, "Hey, wait a minute. You went back and changed that." All right. I'm gonna do this. Instead of outlining the page, I'm just gonna outline. I think maybe, we'll see, just that top one, because the top one was a little bit smaller than the bottom one. And then we're going to go ahead and outline the page too. And actually, as I outline the page, I'm going to outline it as a spread, not as a page. And what I mean by that is I'm going to do stuff over here. So I don't want the two pages to kind of be separate. I want them to be together. So I'm not putting a line right there. So in my traveler's notebook, my second one now for the coronavirus, I have a mixture of things, you guys. Some things are humorous, like this is going to be humorous. And I realize that the coronavirus is not humorous. But I'm doing me. And these are the things I want to document. And I say this probably every other video that I do. You do you. If you want to document things that are funny, I know a lot of people that do their traveler's notebooks, they have just a ton of memes in them, because that's kind of how a lot of us deal with things, is with humor. So not everything has to be super. I mean, it is a very serious subject. It's a very serious time that we're going through right now. But, you know, feel free to do what you want. This was kind of funny too. This is something I will put in. I have not obviously added it yet, but it was another thing that I just grabbed off of the internet. Relative importance in 2020 so far. So on this side, you have things like coffee, car, internet, shaving, alcohol, toilet paper, sweatpants, January through April. So you see some things like sweatpants, relatively low importance in January, and then they jump way up into April. Shaving, whether you're a man or a woman, I guess, maybe you're not shaving your legs. So we go here all the way down. Coffee, internet, car, it's just kind of funny. Alcohol here and then way up, yeah. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we want to say, where's the beef? Now, I have where's the beef? Where's the stamps? What have I done? I had a large stack of stamps, honey. Do you know what I did with those? Can you see them? My producer, Nikki. She's like, yeah, what? He's like, yeah, I can't possibly find anything in this mess. Oh, here they are. All right. So I went through, before we started, some of my Carrie Bradford stamps, and I pulled out alphabets. We talk about Carrie a lot. You guys know how much I love Carrie and how much I love her stamps. And we've also talked about sometimes it's hard to get them because they sell out very quickly. I would encourage you to go to her website, carriebradford.com. I've also linked in the description of the video. She has some amazing new ones coming out that are right now on pre-order. So just go look, because those you probably won't want to miss. She has some giant, really cool stamps coming out. So I just grabbed some of my letter stamps. So where's the beef? I think what I want to do is I think I want to have where's the be pretty small and then beef really be emphasized. So maybe those. All right, I think we're gonna do this. So I'm just gonna play. This is what I do. I'm gonna play because I don't necessarily know what it's gonna look like. And I don't know if I'm gonna like what it's gonna look like. So I wanna play a little bit first. And I would encourage you to do this with your stamping. If you have lots of different stamps and you're not sure what you wanna do, then play first. So I think that I wanna use these with these thin letters, but these thin I might have too much thin and thin. So I might want to use these thin letters and then use, where'd they go? These, that really thick, just to emphasize more. But I really won't know until I see it. So that's what I do. I encourage you with your stamps to do that, to just get them out and play. Because it takes nothing to just start playing with them to see what you like and what you don't like. It's a lot easier for me to do that here than to do that here and realize, oh yeah, I hated that. And then that's too hard for me to let go. All right, so let's come here, grab these guys. I'm thinking for a second, you guys, hang tight. All right, I need my stamping block. Hang on. I'm not finding one of my thicker but smaller blocks, so I'm not sure where they are. So let's do this. This is where my brain has to work. Won't go there, so it has to come over here, right? No, where's the one that has, I swear I have a bigger one that has a line on it. That's way too big. This is too small. It won't work in here. Where is it? Okay, I found it. Here we go. So the reason I pulled this one out is that it has a little grids on it. And clearly I need to clean my stamps. We talked in one of the past videos that when I need to clean my acrylic blocks. We talked in one of the last videos that one of my favorite things to clean those with, especially if stuff has been on there for a while, is a little magic eraser. So I just get that a little bit wet and then the ink comes right off. But usually I'm in too much of a hurry because I just want to keep creating. I don't want to clean. I just want to play, right? I already know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take the time to try the two different letters. I'm just going to use the thick letters on the beef. W-H-E-R, because I could sit here for the next hour and just do that, and nobody wants to watch that. W-H-E-R. Oh, yeah, I don't have another E. So here's a trick, you guys. I'm going to show you how I fix that. I already have the spacing there, so I know where it needs to be. I'm going to get that in here so I know where that needs to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll stamp where's, and then I can come back. I'm going to put the E right there, and then take everything else off and put the E in, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Now I'm remembering I never went back and, oh, that's pretty good. Oh, wait, hang on. Do I have I don't have a little apostrophe, so I'm going to have to do that with a pen after the fact. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, let's come back over here. And let's see where I might have this. Because I'm not going to be able to fit the... Actually, I think I can fit I'm gonna really squeeze it. So I've talked about this little guy before. Another Karen is watching. That's the second Karen with a Y. And I know lots of Debbies, right? There's lots of Debbies. Debbie, Deborah. This I like to put underneath, so I have a good flat, sturdy surface there. Especially, I would use that if I was stamping over here because there's so much that's already happened that it's likely going to get a little bumpy. That is what happened here. I got a little bumpy because of what was following. I didn't use my little guy. It's starting to get hot in here with these lights. Hang on. I need, oh. Let's see if that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna do that because it would end up running off the edge and I don't want it to run off the edge. And then I'm gonna come in here and try to clip this in so I don't have to hold it. All right, so I'll just recap why I did all that I did. This was too narrow, and if I stamped my wares, it wouldn't be all the way to the end where I need it. Then I'm clipping this guy in to the insert so nothing's gonna move around when I go to stamp. What is this guy called? It's a grid stamping block. It's part of a set. Noemi, I just bought it off of Amazon and I will link to it in the description when we're done, so you know what it is exactly. All right, hopefully this is gonna work. One of the benefits of using a lined insert, so that's what I'm using, is a lined insert. I can also try to make sure I am stamping straight. All right, I got a little bit of a bleed there, but that's okay. All right, so now I'm going to pick up my E. I'm going to put it back there. And I'm going to take everything else off because I don't want to stamp above that again. Put these back. Making sure I don't move my little E there because I don't want to move that. One of the nice things, you guys, about using an acrylic block, a clear acrylic block, is that I can now see exactly where that needs to go. So it should, theoretically, right? It should work. And if it doesn't, it's art. Okay, there we go. Where's? And now I need, oh, okay, hold on. I gotta do that. Oh, I have two different stamping inks there. All right, so now where's? I fake it. That looks like it was part of the stamp set. Who here is scrapbook journals, works on planners, other kinds of, it's from Tim Holt, set up, yes, 9 stamping blocks. Hi, Brazil. And I can only see L. Bodman. Late to the party. Hi, Irma. Thinner one. Noemi, is there a thinner? So this, it's actually, it's really pretty thin. It is, let's see. It's 16th of an inch. Yeah, it's 16th of an inch. So it's pretty thin. All right, so then we're going to go back here, and now I need to do the clip that in again. And I'm clipping that just so, actually we're going to clip down here so it doesn't get in the way. So my paper doesn't move, and it's kind of holding to the block. Where's, oh, and my E is still there, so I can grab the T and the H. And I have mentioned before, you guys, I am by no means an expert stamper. I'm a total hack when it comes to stamping. I love it, but I am a hack. So there are some amazing people to follow that are amazing stampers. So I'm not it. I just like to play. If you guys, oh, well, Carrie Bradford, and she has an amazing design team. So you go to her blog or you go follow her on Instagram, then you'll see people. Honey, will you go get me like one of the wipes, those cucumber wipes that are in the bathroom? So I have a little bit, you guys, of black. I'm getting a little bit of black on my page because I have not cleaned anything. So I have it on the block, I have it on my fingers, so I need to take care of that. So that's really why you should try to clean up. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, so where's the, in this example, there's a little bit, I'll just show you, I'm gonna try not to touch things. But see how in my T, there's just not as quite as much ink on the T. So if I want, that's when I could bring in my little Sharpie and just color that in. That, my friends, is why I like to use black ink when I stamp. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's a Costco makeup wipe, but that totally works. Totally works.
Your cucumber things weren't there.
Oh, okay, that's fine. They're probably in the drawer. All right, so I don't know if beef will fit on there. I probably need this guy for beef. So let's see. Yeah, it won't fit on there. I'm gonna just set this off to the side, you guys. I need to clean that, and I don't want to take the time while we are doing this to do that. So those go on the floor. And so, Karen, it might be something I would think about if I wasn't doing it on the video, because then I'd have to go and look at all my inks and figure out which ink I think would match. And then I might try to find a pink, and that would be kind of fun with the pink, but then, and yeah, that'll take too long. My brain just, yeah, I'm just going to go with the black. So, because the black is what I have out, and that is easy. So we're going to use the big beefy thick. These are the, so I just want to show you guys a lot of what Carrie does in her stamps. She has the same stamp, but one is the outline version and then one is the inside. So what I could do, but I won't do it here. I could first stamp the solid. So if I maybe had a light pink, I could stamp the solid. Then if I wanted, I could stamp the outline in black over the top of it, and it would look really cool. Again, if you want some great stamping people to follow, go to Carrie's either blog or Instagram, and then you'll start to see people on her design team, and you can see who you want to follow. I do not have the grid on this big one, so I typically like to work with, just personally, my preference is a thicker, I'm going to run into the same problem there, a thicker block. It's just easier for me to hold on to a thicker block. And so that's why I'm not using one of my other ones that has a grid on it that's smaller. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to pretend the C is about as wide as the E. So spacing wise, I'm just going to borrow the C to make sure I get that fit. And then I'm going to put the F next to it. We can always get pretty, oh, look at, I can use that to line up, pretend like that's my grid. It's pretty even. We can always get pretty creative on how to make something work when we don't have all the letters to stamp at once. Where's the B-sifa? Not the B. Okay. So there we go there. Now I need to really prime this one. So we've talked about this in one of the past videos about priming your stamps first. And priming, what I mean there is, you know what, actually, let me see. I'm going to open this guy. This is a larger, and it is brand new, so it should have more ink in it, since I didn't ever go back and figure out or fix the re-inker. Make sure that I got the re-inker plenty coated. So we're going to use this brand new guy. Priming your stamps first. When I first have a brand new stamp, let me show you what it does. See how It's kind of picking up the impression of the ink pad itself because it doesn't have enough ink on it. So I really want to make sure that I get a lot of ink on there and to the point where I don't see that, unless you, of course, that's the look that you're going for, which there's nothing wrong with that. So I've got it pretty well stamped, pretty well inked up, and now I'm gonna do that. So it's nice and primed. I'm gonna ink it one more time, and then we're gonna go ahead and stamp. Just reading what you guys are saying. Oh. I want to make sure I get that nice and coated because I like a really good impression. I like to leave a good impression. Okay. We're back here. Is that going to run in the way? No. Yeah, it is. Okay. I need to move this down a little bit. So it's going to be in my way. Now, sometimes what I would do would be not to stamp directly on my page, especially if I was worried about messing up. I would take a 8 1/4 by 5 piece of white cardstock, and I would stamp on that, and then I would adhere that to my page. So if you are worried about stamping directly in your traveler's notebook, that's a little hack. I could take white cardstock like this. I could cut it down to size and then do all of my stamping on there to make sure it looked nice, and then I would cut that out and adhere it right to the top of my page. Oh, yeah, that was a colossal fail. So, in comes the Sharpie. Now, when something like that happens, I could now take an 8 1/4 by 5 piece of paper and do my stamping all over again and adhere it right over the top of this. But I think I can fix it. So I'm just fixing a little bit of that. And then I can come in here and fix the E. What's going to be interesting is if I can fix the B. But sometimes it's good to make a mistake like this so you guys can see it's what happens. So what do we do when it happens? How do we fix it? We get creative. Now, I can already tell you on the back of this, I know before I work on the back side of this page, I'm going to have to put down another piece of paper because it's just going to be too yucky on the other side. That's okay. All right, so that's good. Let's come in here and let's see. I'm going to kind of draw this in. Oh, I know what happened. You guys, you know what happened too. This wasn't over far enough. So if it had been over this way, we would have been fine. And I knew that because it's what we did before. So I'm just going to kind of get this going to fix it. I won't fix it as we're together because this will take me a little bit of time to do, but this is exactly what I would do. So I'm going to now just then come in here and start to color all that in, but I won't keep going after that.
It's probably getting close to time to wrap it.
I know you're doing this on me. You're doing the wrap it up. I have, and I know part of the reason why Nick is saying this, part of the reason he's like, how can people possibly be still watching? But the other reason is I am teaching a 3-hour class that goes with my Life is Better at the Beach kit. And that I am teaching in less than 3 hours. So I'm all ready for that. I just need a little bit of down mental time in between, or else I will not function very well during that class. Okay, so now we're going to take this off, and I'm just going to put it right there for now. I'm going to take this off, put it right there for now, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to stamp the E. This E doesn't want to work there. It's going to have to move over because I can place it where I want now. So we can go right about there. I'm going to finish stamping the E, and then we will wrap up. And then we're going to talk about what's happening next week. Actually, We'll talk about what's happening the next 2 weeks. Have a Paloma break. Noemi, I am so right there with you. I'll have one after the next class, because that'll be 6 o'clock my time. Oh, not my tie, 6 o'clock my time. Need to put this back in here. Sometimes if I'm not thinking enough as I'm working, then that's not good, which is what I was just doing. All right, here's my E. Is that gonna work? Nope, it's gonna get in the way. You guys knew that already. And my E is gonna go right there. Where's the beef? All right, so I'm going to come in, I will fix the B, and then I will do some journaling, and I'll add some more stuff because it's gonna be pretty plain right now. Okay, so let's do this. Let's flip the camera. And we're gonna flip the camera and we're gonna turn off the lights. Bear with me for a sec. I think I have this down now. I think the first couple times I tried to do this on my own when Sam wasn't here, it didn't work so well. But we're good, look it. Okay, all right, so you guys remember, well, I have several things to say, but remember that when we're done, I always go back, and probably won't happen until tomorrow or Monday now. I will always go back and read we're a little tilted there. I always go back and read the chat because I love to see what you guys are seeing in the chat, and I feel like I'm missing out on a lot when I don't see the chat. So if I missed a question, then after the video, leave it in the comments and I will get it. Okay, so let's talk about next week. Next week, this also, well, all three, this week and the next 2 weeks came out of the walk that Nick and I were on yesterday. And Nick said, I was saying that, yesterday I needed to schedule the Plan With Me videos that are usually exclusive, they're private, that go along with my Traveler's Notebook kits that I do. And he said, well, why don't you just do one of those? And I said, well, I can't do one of those. And then I went, you know what, wait a minute, why not? So what we're going to do next Saturday, Nick, will you go grab that kit for me, the floral kit? Remember in the floral one is to the right of the picking table? So I have four, 3 new Traveler's Notebook kits right now that I launched earlier this week. One is a floral Traveler's Notebook kit. So it includes paper and stickers and washi and things. So normally what I do with my those Traveler's Notebook kits is I do a pre-recorded video where I put the kit together. What I've started doing with these 3 new kits is they're all going to be YouTube Lives. So similar to this, but normally they would only be for the people that have purchased the kit. But what I'm going to do next Saturday is I'm going to do the Plan With Me using that kit. So you don't have to have the kit. The people that have the kit will watch either live or after the fact, so they know how to put together their kit. And this is the kit. It's the floral Traveler's Notebook kit. So it has paper and inserts and washi and all different kinds of things. But we will be doing that. If you don't have the kit, like I said, you don't have to buy the kit, but we will be putting that together. So what I will do is when I send out the email for that, like I sent out for every Saturday's free class, I will tell you the things that you might want to have with you if you want to kind of play along with us. Obviously, you will be doing you'll be using different supplies than I will in class, but that's okay. So thought that would be kind of fun for next week so you get a feel for how those kits normally work. Then the week after that, this was an idea that my friend Karen Petrowski gave me a couple weeks ago. She said, you know what? And it was one of the trips I was heading to California to see my dad. I had taken some Traveler's Notebook things for me, but my plan was to work on some of them while I was gone, and that didn't happen. She said, you know what I think would be a really cool video? A lot of times when you travel, because she and I travel together in different things, she said, it would be really interesting for me, and I bet it'd be interesting for other people to know how you pack when you are taking things with you to work on the road. So 2 weeks from now, I will do that video where I will show you, because I will be going on the road for something. So I will basically show you how I pack when I am going to take things with me. And I don't pack a giant suit. Well, I pack a giant suitcase, but there's other things that Nick just looked at me like, what? Yeah, I pack a giant suitcase because I have a horrible time making a decision. But I think I have it pretty well down on what I take with me when I am traveling and I want to work on my traveler's notebook. So that will be 2 weeks from now. You guys are troopers. It is 12:16 my time, which means we've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I am going to get closer to the camera really quick. Well, not closer to the camera. I'm going to get duck under and look at just a few of the comments here, you guys. Oh, Nick, happy Father's Day. Thank you, Mandy. Packing on the road for the TNs. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Noemi, your Yosemite trip. If you haven't already watched, I want you to watch on my YouTube channel. There is a video look at the top of my head. I'm going to scooch down a little bit more. There is a video on how to prepare for documenting a trip. So it's not how to pack for things, but it's all the different things that I collect while I'm on a trip so that when I get home, I can document the trip. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend that. That's kind of a fun one. Oh yes, thank you, Mandy. You guys remember to like, please like the video if you enjoyed it. Vicky, you're going to Bryce. Oh my gosh. So that video is about how I was preparing to document the trip to Bryce Canyon that my friend Vicky Booten and I took. All right, you guys. I'm just reading everyone. Wish Nick happy Father's Day. I will. You guys, happy Father's Day, even though you're not a father. I don't think there are any fathers watching. Maybe there are. Happy Father's Day. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow with your family, if you're celebrating with family, or if you're crafting tomorrow, or if you're reading or sleeping or eating or whatever it is you're doing. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you next Saturday for a really fun, different live than we've done in the past. So, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and I may see some of you in less than 3 hours for the private class that goes with my beach kit. All right, guys, bye.